This is how to make your eyes bigger. I will leave this eye like it is, just so you can compare the two, but try to not look at my little allergic reaction too much and try to ignore it. So one of the basic things you need to know about makeup is that if you put a light color, you're kind of highlighting an area and you're making it come forward. If you're doing the opposite and you're placing a shade or a, let's say, just a dark color, essentially contouring, and you're putting the color back. That's the overall effect. What I would start with if you want to make your eyes look bigger is to just contour, actually. Essentially what you do when you put eyeshadows is contouring and highlighting. I will just start with this guy, the Ultimate Vintage Jean from NYX. And I will just take this shade, dip in a fluffy brush. This is on the smaller side because I have hooded eyes. You just want to run that shade along the crease. I would like to darken it up a little bit. As you can see, this one, it is darker, but it's not super dark. It's more of a medium value. And it's a cool tone. What I want to do is actually blend with this darker one. Slowly build up the color. Just take this alone. Just a little bit is enough. I'm going to concentrate it right on that line and not take it higher or lower. Now I'm taking a clean blending brush and just blending out the very top. Already this eye looks a little bit bigger than the other one. What we have done now is create some depth, adding definition, but therefore in contrast, this area seems lighter, so that is coming forward a little bit. We can further emphasize this by putting a light color down here. So I have my C palette. This is just individual eyeshadow pans that I got, so you can't get this anywhere unless you buy exactly the same, although I don't think you can anymore. Just a flat shader brush. I will be picking out this color. So when you take your eyeshadow, you just want to tap off with your finger. You tap off the excess. Now I'm just placing that shadow all over the lid, but not going into the crease. So now this lid is popping forwards more. I hope that makes sense. Taking a smaller blending brush, I'm going to pick up this shade again and put it down here, but I will drag it down a little bit further than I really have to. Now I want to make sure that I don't close off the eye, so I'm not gonna connect the crease and the lower lash line. I'm just gonna keep it down here and then just slowly start blending it out. Okay, like that. Taking my flat fluffy shader brush again, and I'm just placing the eyeshadow a little bit down here to make sure I'm not closing off the eye. The next step is to put something in the waterline, a brighter, lighter color, just to open the eye more. I have these two. I have a white kohl eyeliner and a more cream colored or off-white color. The white tends to look a little bit unnatural, and for my coloring I'm more soft, so I prefer a softer color. So I'm just gonna place this in my waterline down here, placing a little bit because my eyes are watering and I'm having allergies, but it's not the best idea since my eyes are watering, but I can still make it work. A little bit more eyeshadow down here. I'm gonna start darkening up this part. So you see how we've played around with lighter and darker colors, added definition, and now this eye is popping more compared to how my eye would normally look. we can also add a little bit of play to it. It doesn't have to be this, you know, it doesn't have to be this simple. We can add a little bit of fun to it. That's what I want to do, because usually this is what everyone will tell you, but let's add some fun. I'm just picking up a little bit of that white shade and I'm gonna put that right in the middle of the lid just to lighten that area a little bit more. I don't want it to be stark white, but I want your attention to be drawn. We can also add some glitter. So if you want to keep the eyeshadow like this, you can do that. You can also use other colors. Just make sure that this is a lot lighter than the crease and then the lower lash. And you don't have to put an eye kohl in your waterline. It's optional, but it just helps. I personally rarely ever do that. I'm just gonna take this glitter right here. I'm just gonna place a little bit of glitter all over. So that just adds a little bit of fun. Sparkles also reflect light, so technically it also helps to make your eyes seem bigger, but this way we have just spiced it up a little bit. What you can also do, which many people don't show you, is to add a little bit of an eyeliner. You don't have to, but I just like to do that. Super beginner friendly thing, and use a tiny little eye kohl. This is dual ended. This side you can use to smudge out your kohl, making a super thin line. And then I'm gonna drag it down here. And then I'm gonna angle it up. Just kind of following this line here, thickening this up. But I'm gonna keep it really, really thin. I'm just gonna keep it like that. I'm gonna keep it thin because that will contrast my eye and make my eye look bigger. Then you don't take away that light eyeshadow that we put here that helps to open up the eye. The reason why I dragged it down a little bit further is because then we extend the lash line and we make the eyes look bigger. I'm not exactly connecting the line with the lower lash line, because if we connect two lines that are dark, it's gonna constrict and make the eye look smaller. So I'm avoiding that, and I'm just placing the shadow down here and going down a little bit further than I normally would, just to make this placement of the eyeliner seem more natural, but still not fully connecting the two. I'm missing a little bit of definition here. So I'm going back in with that dark brown shade on this smaller brush. Another neat little trick, especially if you have hooded eyes and if you have just in general the space for it, is to put your defining crease shade a little bit higher, so very close to the bone. It also gives the appearance of a bigger eye. I'm also placing a little bit here, but not going so much down and keeping it more parallel to the brown. So this area in here seems more open. And I'm just blending it out gently with this brush that we used in the beginning for the crease. And it's okay if you have to go back and forth with this. It's actually quite normal, because then you're making sure everything is nice and blended, and you're making sure that you have the intensity that you want as well. Don't think that you have to get it right the first time. That would be incredible if you did, but really most people slowly build it up. Now I made it seem like my crease is a lot higher than it is, making the lid space seem a lot bigger than it is, and then also the eye, And then because I drag down the eyeliner, it looks like down here my eye is also bigger. Open up this space here, taking the same shade that we have been placing all over the lid. Like that. Brighten it even further. So now you're really playing with illusions. And since we put some glitter, I will put some in the inner corner too. This also helps to open up the eye. And if I place it a little bit further out, it seems like my inner corner is a little bit bigger and further away than it actually is from the center of my eye. So I didn't notice that I had hit my eyelid in a lot more places than I thought with my mascara. So I'm just going back in, reapplying. So do you see the difference? It's actually quite a big difference. What I haven't done yet is to place mascara on the bottom here. I will do that after I have finished this eye. I'll be right back. Okay, so I did the same on this eye. Now they have both become a lot bigger, or it looks that way. So that's the fun part about makeup, is that you can create illusions. That's essentially what it is anyway. But that is what the eyes are looking like. Of course, I haven't put mascara on the bottom lashes. That will also help to really make the eyes look a lot bigger. I will be doing it for the sake of this video. Usually I wouldn't, because it just becomes a mess on me. But nevertheless, I will do it for you. So even though this is a waterproof mascara, I don't think it will stay waterproof on my bottom lashes. So I will go in with my old Maybelline My eyes look really big, right? I already have big eyes. I will also go in on the top lashes again with this one, but I will be cleaning up the brush since I already have mascara on. I can't really clean out the brush with the Sky High, so that's why I'm going in with this one instead. Oh, my eye is really watering. Hard to make your eyes bigger. Like a lot bigger. Just want to intensify the blush up here using my Isadora blush. Some kind of mist. Kaya. I needed a darker shirt because it's just a bit too much of a clash. I went with this kind of statuesque t-shirt. That is my look. It's a bit more intense than I thought I would go for this tutorial today, but oh well. I really hope that you enjoyed it and found it useful. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!